Morning students. Today I am going to discuss with you the arterial blood pressure. Within our relatives, it is very common to get the knowledge of high blood pressure. This high blood pressure is hypertension. Technically or clinically it is known as hypertension. When the blood pressure rises within our system, within the cardiovascular system, it is manifested as the high blood pressure. This high blood pressure can be seen, it is very prevalent in our day-to-day life because most of our elderly relatives are suffering from the hypertension. Like that way, it is not so common. Hypotension is very prevalent, not very prevalent in day-to-day life, but still not to be ignored for this situation. So we can understand that both the high blood pressure and the low blood pressure are detrimental for our system, for our homeostasis. So to maintain the normal blood pressure is very necessary for our system. Let's have some idea about the cardiovascular system. Cardiovascular system consists of cardiac system, that is the heart, and the vascular system. Here we can see some of the part of the vascular system and whole heart. Now we can see here that the heart has two pumping machine in series. One is left ventricle, left atrium, and one is the right atrium and right ventricle. Here we can see the left side of the ventricle, that is left ventricle. We start with the left ventricle. Left ventricle pumps blood to the aorta, then to the great arteries, then to the smaller arteries, arterioles, and the capillaries. These capillaries, you know, are the exchange vessels where the oxygen, carbon dioxide, and the nutrients and toxins get exchanged, so that these capillaries are depicted here in the violet color. After the capillary, the deoxygenated blood goes to the venules, then to the smaller veins, then to the greater veins. After that, it comes to join to the form superior and inferior vena cava. Superior and inferior vena cava now drains blood to the right atrium. We can see here it is a systemic circulation. Likewise, there is pulmonary circuit also, where the right ventricles drains the blood to the pulmonary capillary and the oxygenated blood comes to the left atrium. So the aorta has a 120 millimeter mercury of pressure, and this pressure drops down to the superior or vena cava level. So the one-sided circulation can take place from the higher pressure to the lower pressure. This pressure is about 2 to 8 millimeter mercury in the superior and inferior vena cava. As they are the central vein, this venous pressure, that is 2 to 8 millimeter mercury pressure, is known as central venous pressure. This lower central venous pressure helps in the proper circulation by maintaining a pressure head of the 120 millimeter mercury minus 2 to 8 millimeter mercury of venous pressure. So if the venous pressure increases, that causes difficulty in the circulation and there is accumulation of blood. During ventricular contraction, there is increase in the intraventricular pressure, and during relaxation, there is decrease in the intraventricular pressure. This increase and decrease is from 0 millimeter to 120 millimeter of mercury. This pressure drop helps the heart to contract and relax properly. But in the aortic panel, you can see the pressure drop is from near about 80 to 120 millimeter of mercury. This less pressure drop in the aorta due to presence of the intrinsic elastic fiber in the aortic vessels. This helps in the proper propagation of the blood into the subsequent blood vessels. Left ventricular contraction opens up the aortic valves. Aortic valves get opened and blood column is pushed into the aorta. Aorta is ballooned out due to presence of elastin fiber in its wall. Due to extra amount of blood, the aortic pressure rises to 120 mm mercury. Now left ventricle relaxed and aortic valve closes. Blood cannot be bounced back into the left ventricle due to closure of the aortic valves. So the aortic blood now pushed forward. Previous section of aorta, which previously accommodated extra amount of blood and ballooned out, now recoils, and so the previous section now relaxes and the pressure in the aorta decreases to 80 mm mercury, not to the 0 mm mercury, but because of the presence of blood still there. This pressure pathway progresses. This effect helps in the maintenance of the intra-aortic pressure to 120 and 80 mm mercury during diastole. This effect is known as Wind-Kessel effect. Measurement of the arterial blood pressure is done with the principles of sphygmomanometry with the help of an instrument called the sphygmomanometer. This arterial pressure measurement is done in the clinics with this sphygmomanometer. There is different kinds of sphygmomanometer, both the digital as well as the mercury and the aneroid sphygmomanometer will be available in the market. Now some definitions. Arterial blood pressure. Pressure of the flowing blood to the arterial wall. Systolic blood pressure. The maximum blood pressure during systole in a cardiac cycle, which is normally 120 mm of mercury. Diastolic blood pressure. The minimum blood pressure during diastole in a cardiac cycle, which is about 80 mm mercury normal. Pulse pressure. It is a difference between systolic and diastolic blood pressure, normally 40 mm mercury. Mean arterial blood pressure. It is the average pressure in arteries during one cardiac cycle. It is measured as diastolic BP plus 1/3 of the pulse pressure. Normally, it is 93.33 mm of mercury. Factors of systemic arterial blood pressure. Systemic arterial blood pressure depends upon the cardiac output and total peripheral resistance. Cardiac output depends upon the stroke volume into heart rate. Stroke volume is the volume of blood per stroke of the left ventricle, and heart rate is the beats per minute. Heart rate depends upon the autonomic nervous system output. That means in parasympathetic stimulation there is decrease in the heart rate, and sympathetic stimulation there is increase in the heart rate. Total peripheral resistance depends upon the tone of vascular smooth muscle and viscosity of blood. What is tone of the vascular smooth muscle? It increases during the sympathetic stimulation, and that causes vasoconstriction and increase in the total peripheral resistance, and thus the systemic arterial blood pressure. And the viscosity of the blood, what happened to it? Viscosity of the blood is due to various reasons. It may change in the systemic circulation, like in dehydration there is viscosity of there is decrease in the water component of the blood, and that causes increase in the viscosity. And in case of polycythemia there is also increase in the viscosity, and that causes hindrance in the blood flow and increases the total peripheral resistance. And the anemia, in anemia there is decrease in the viscosity and there is decrease in the total peripheral resistance. Stroke volume depends upon the preload, that is venous return to the right atrium. Contractility of heart, that is the increase in the power of the heart, its intrinsic contraction power. And the afterload. Afterload, what is afterload? Afterload is nothing but the column of blood present in the aorta after the left ventricle starts contraction, in which preload and contractility of the heart is directly proportional with the stroke volume, or we can say that stroke volume is directly proportional to the preload and contractility of heart, and afterload is inversely proportional to the contractility of heart. Preload depends upon the many causes. One is thoracic pump, second one is soleal pump, suction pump of the heart, and the blood volume, and also the gravity. What is thoracic pump? When we take inspiration, there is decrease in the intrathoracic pressure, so that blood from the lower part of the body sucked into the heart. What is soleal pump? Soleal pump, when we walk or exercise, there is increase in the soleal mechanical activity, that is contraction and relaxation. So what happened? That it in its core, it contains the unidirectional upwardly directed venous valves. So the one directional from lower part of the body to the upper part of the body, blood pulled into the heart. What is suction power of the heart? In the right atrium, there is very low pressure. So that causes the return of the venous blood into the right atrium. Blood volume, you know, more the blood volume, more the venous return, and more the stroke volume. Then the gravity. Here the gravity is negative, has negative effect, because gravity pulls the blood towards the lower side. So there is decrease in the venous return. All other things causes the increase in the venous return except gravity. So we have mechanism to overcome the gravity, and there is thoracic pump, soleal pump, suction pump of the heart. All causes the increased suction power into the right atrium. Thank you, students.